So we're going to be looking at a recording now for Fiz, seeing how he played, seeing what he did well, what he did badly, and seeing if we can find some things that would help him improve. Again, just so you know, obviously I am only so skilled, so not everything I say will be perfect. So first off the bat, you need to work on your ladder movement, and that when you go up, you're going straight up. If you go up at an angle, it'll make it easier, it'll help you go quicker. You're taking good control, you're controlling the squeaky door, happy with that, nice and basic. You've got a teammate in heaven covering for you, so you don't need to come back to look here, you've got someone actually covering that. And now you're getting distracted and you are trying to spam with a USB, which is not going to work. That took you off the squeaky door, which obviously caused a problem there. And the other thing is, you didn't need to drop. You could have just stayed in control and kept shooting. You're running around, you're not putting thought into what you do in there, which is the main problem. I'm going to skip ahead now to your next round. Right, so we won that round, so you should be on a buy. You've got 3,400, so you should be able to buy and get yourself up probably an SMG looking at where you're playing. So yep, bought well. You've got your utility and that, no kit, but that's okay because we have a kit on one ramp player and one on site. Not everyone needs kits in these lower buy rounds. Again, you're going to go towards heaven. No need to discuss the ladder, already talked about it. You've again taken same position, very nice. It's all mollied for you. You need to just focus on the door and not worry too much. Remember, you've got two players there. You've got your area, they've got theirs. You don't need to cover everything. Rely on your teammates more. So now you're looking at me rather than looking at there. You're leaving Kinder exposed. So all you need to do is just hold this angle. You're trying to control too much, which obviously is hard to do. You know what I mean? Very nice. Kinder shot the vent to make them think that people are dropping. Really nice hold from Bucks. You're going to push through. This is really good to see because you know they're there. However, now you get into here, you want to slow it down. Well done, you slowed it down, you're taking your time, you're clearing the angle. You're engaged, yeah, nice, you disengaged, you didn't keep on pushing it. Yeah, obviously your peak wasn't the greatest, but you got the job done. So you've got Tech 9, yeah, full armor, and you maintained your gun, which will allow you to have a buy next round. Remember, you don't need to go all the way to the left to do that jump. You can make it from heaven straight away. So you've seen a player die outside. You've seen two die outside. You've immediately gone towards the vent. That's left A fully open and exposed. In this case, you've got lucky. You've thrown the molly. Nice. But you peek before your gun's out, which has allowed them to get the kill on you. Here we go again. So let's have a look. We have a bit of a mixed buy. However, because Buck's under 2,000, we should full buy into this because we have a low buy no matter what. Let's see what we do as a team. So rather than fully buy into it, we've done a two grand buy, which is a bad shout by me. Remember, boys, there's going to be a lot of mistakes in this one because it's our first ever one. So you know that door's been blown, you know there's potentially someone there, so you want to just keep holding that angle. Overextension by me has created a problem for you now, but you have a second player in heaven holding. They've just lost the ramp, you know one is down there. So you keep coming off the angle, and that's what's allowed him to get the angle on you. If you stay there and you hold the angle and you rely on your teammates a bit more, you get that kill. Let's go back round. And there we go. Let's have a look at the money. So at the moment, money's not brilliant, but we have a chance to actually pull this back into our favour, so we force up a buy. Again, you've gone for the utility above all, which, considering the place you're playing, is good. You've got but you still kept 1,200 behind. You'd have been better off buying probably a smoke and potentially a flash there as well as a kit. Because you have the money to be able to afford a kit, whereas a lot of people don't. But we do have kits on 2 players. However, they're both going ramp, so that's a bad buy by us. Again, you're in nice and early, but because you take a bit longer to get there, that's allowed the position on Kinder. But that's okay, this is what we learn. Turn the flash nicely, good spray down. You still have a player heaven, so you don't need to worry about that. You just need to control your area. Quick switch for not much reason, but again, I like this. You played there a lot, so you've changed your position, but unfortunately you made noise. You hear them pushing ramp, and it should have been cold, so you should rotate at this point. You're pushing through the ramp, that's fine, but because of where they are, you want to go quicker. They will have heard you at this point, so they should be aware that you're coming up behind them. You're keeping control. You're not controlling your angles and your peak very well, but good kill. You're holding with a nade out in the open for no reason, and your nade is going to be towards someone that's not there. You've already killed a player there. You know you're safe. That's nice. You're controlling the angles, but then you're jumping, and I'm not sure what you're doing. A little bit of an overpeak, but not bad. It's 3 versus 1, very low percentage. Yeah, you're going for the save, not a bad call. You know one's coming ramp. Yeah, so this is never a good place to save because you're going to probably die, I imagine. Yep. But these things happen. We live, we learn, we grow. In that situation, try and get yourself back to CT if you can. I know there's a player chasing behind you, but you know you've got a bit of time. You know he's a good few steps, and you can at least get to roughly where we are here. You also know the angle he's going to be coming from, so yeah. So you've dropped a Deagle, bought an MP9. Yeah, not too bad, I guess. Yep. So we're going for a full ramp play, with the exception of Bucks, who's dropped and then come back. Kinder's cleared 1 angle. There's 2 behind us. We know that now. That's just unlucky. It is what it is. Not the best push through and the best clears by us as a team, but these things happen. I'm going to stop talking about the utility because it keeps happening the same every time. So you've got 2 outside players, but you're still looking towards... In fact, you have 3 outside players and you're still looking there. You get mollied off, you drop, fair enough. You've exposed your door to Squeaky, you've got no one there. Nice little trade out. So there's just thinking about controlling your angles, okay? So if you have a look, if I can find you, you get the initial kill, which is good, and then you're exposing yourself to a lot of angles here, and you're not looking at a specific angle. So that's all it is, just a bit more. There we go. Right. So you've full bore. They've mollied you on the hut again. So you don't need to take such an aggressive line here. You shot the vent, the door's open, and you've fully exposed yourself to Squeaky, and you've just been seen dropping. That lets the team know now that there's 2 players down there, so they know that A is going to be weaker. They should push A at this point, but they've committed to secret. You got very lucky to survive that, and have just, yeah. You were dead no matter what there. So the mistake there was when the door was blown open, you weren't aware of your surroundings. You just got to be a bit more careful, and again, rely on your team. Believe in them. So you bought a nade. You're on the defensive side. What's the nade planned for is the question. So those extra few seconds you've taken there have allowed them through. But what I want to look at is, so Kinder's there. We've got 2 on the ramp. We've got 1 outside. So this is your team actually slowing you down the road. We haven't, for some reason, decided to actually have anyone apart from you play A. That's unlucky. It makes it really hard for you. Okay, mate? So this time you decide to change up, play rafters. I quite like that. You change your position, but you've thrown a nade for no reason. You've not. There can't be anyone there. Kinder's got you covered, and now you and Kinder are playing right next to each other. That's quite nice. You've disengaged. He's just held the angle better. That's the left eye versus right eye. That's left eye versus right eye peak. And that. Try and think about your angles a bit more. Remember, you're playing defensively. You don't need to push into his angle. You can hold back and let him come to you. Right. Last round of the half. Last round? Nope. 2 more rounds to go. Sorry, my bad. This time you've suddenly changed position and you're going towards outside. But your pathing is really bad there. You've thrown a flash, yes, but what is the flash trying to achieve? That flash doesn't achieve anything. You're taking a long-range duel with an MP9. Not the greatest move. Again, you're walking out. Your back's exposed to Squeaky. Just try and remember to take your time, isolate your angles, and think about where you're exposed to. So you and Ash are now both watching towards Squeaky. Main's open. You're going to get shot from main in a second. There we go. And again, it's just more awareness of surroundings. That's what you got to think about. Okay, mate? Bucks comes in with a big rescue. So look, last round, you haven't got a lot of money, but you need to force up. Guns are getting dropped through. Let's see what you end up picking up. You've got MP9, but again, you bought that nade. The nade doesn't serve you any purpose. You should be better off with a smoke there, because you can actually block an area. You're taking a long time in spawn, which has given them a lot of time. Which again, first game we ever played together, things are going to be a bit slow. You're playing outside with an MP9, not the best position for someone with your weaponry. You're taking a long range duel again. You're about to get wrecked because it's an AWP. Luckily you moved away. You've seen the doors blown. So in that case, the nade, you missed it, but it could have been useful. You're not actually covering so, if you look, you're not covering any angles there. You're just sort of looking towards the wall. Try and think about where you're looking. So you know you got a guy heaven covering that. Where's your main exposure point? Main. You're very open to a lot of angles at this point. And again, just that same lack of awareness is what's led to that. Let's have a look at your T side. I can't actually remember what happens in this one, but we'll have a look. In we come. Your pre-aim's not brilliant. You're not aiming in the angles they're likely to come from. Bit of blocking on the ladder there, but these things happen. So you drop down without actually looking into the site where you are. again, so at this point, because we got the bomb down, we're trying to play defensively, we're trying to stop them. You're obviously getting aggressive, you want to get the kills. Kills are a good thing, but you're overexposing to a lot of angles there. Just try to slow it down. Again, you're reloading in the open, so it's just a little bit of time thinking about where you are, what's happening, all the rest of it. Okay. Right. So we won that one. You bought in with an AK, decoy, smoke, and a flash. You decoyed out to outside, and you're looking a little bit lost. So this one, pathing wise, you'd have been better off going through the hut. So you've smoked something that's already smoked. You'd have been better off holding your smoke and waiting. Again, you've left your... Again, you're just outside, you're exposed a lot. These things happen. So this is a full eco. Honestly, I don't think there's anything that we can see from this. So I'm just going to skip this round. Again, it is what it is. Right, so this time you've chosen to go the MP9, and that you had enough money there for a rifle. You're looking around with a smoke in your hand. You've traded out, and now you're going outside with what is effectively a close range weapon. You'd have been better off going on the inside, but I think this is off my call. A smoke for the cross. There's already 2 down, so you should have been good. You could have held on to the smoke for something else, but again, you got through. But you need to keep following Kinder, give him that support. That way he's got the trade options. Your crosshair is very low, so I mean, you stood next to Kinder, use him as a point of reference to realise my crosshair is low, I need to raise it up. You've got bomb, you're pushing through. At the moment there is one of them in vents, but we haven't actually cleared that because only 2 have come down. We need the 3rd player. With you having the bomb, you'd be better off going to the site rather than pushing through. In fact, I think he's on the rafters. At this point, you kind of stalled out as a team. Nice to see you peppering, but again, you pushed through, left yourself massively exposed. There's still a guy above you, and you're planted. So you just kind of lost a bit of your awareness of your surroundings. Then it's more prioritization. I'd say that went wrong there. Right, so you got your Mac. Gun came out a bit late, but that's okay. Nice push through the smoke. So nice smoke push, but unfortunately you were still blind when you came, so you just kind of went into an angle where you couldn't see anything, you were going to die. These things happen, we don't sweat too much. So, final point, final Mac. You get the smoke for the cross, that's quite nice, block the garage. You've managed to get the cross. You've gone through minimal damage, very nice. Got caught with the spam there, which is unlucky. These things happen. So you're low HP now. You're now holding behind. You've mollied the rotate, very nice. You're taking your time, but your crosshair placement needs to be worked on a bit, but that will come with time and playing more. Slight overexposing for the nade, but that's okay. Nice little flash to push them back. So again, you had a nice bit of cover, you've overexposed yourself, you've run out, and then you run out about while reloading. Honestly, I'd say your main thing is slow down, take your time, and just think about your surroundings and you'll be fine.